Again. Anyway, let's check in on the latest headlines trending on the bold.global website. Point your browser to www.bold.global. Joining us back on set is our own Kevin Campbell and also Morgan Ortega's Maverick PAC chair, the PAC co-chair of the Maverick.
National co-chair.
National co-chair.
That's right.
Girl,
Get the whole title in.
That's right.
Own it.
That's right.
And via Skype from DC is Stephen Cruz, Deputy Digital Director. I'm messing up people's titles today. Deputy Digital Director for Libre Initiative. First on bold.global, Kevin teaches us how to grow your following on social media. Kevin, give us some pointers on that. I'm working.
So one of the most important things you can do is engage, and engage every day. Find out who your audience is, what they're interested in, and provide them with relevant, good content that they want to read and they want to engage back with you. That's the best advice I can give you to build a following. Building a following is hard work. It's like a box of puppies. You have to feed and care for it every single day.
I never believe that anybody cares what I have to say. I don't know what. Maybe myself. I need help. I need to go back to the last panel and get some self-esteem points. Next on bold.global, an inventor in Silicon Valley created a keyboard to help women use more assertive language. Morgan, do you think this is going to be helpful for people in the workplace, for women?
I mean, hopefully. I've never had a problem being assertive.
And you're in the Naval Reserves. Like you're in and you work in finance. You're in very male-dominated environments.
Maybe it's just the way I was raised, and I think it comes down to what your parents ingrained. My parents never told me that there is a job for me as a woman that I couldn't do as a man, or vice versa. And so they always embolden. I have a twin sister. They always embolden us to be able to do anything. So I've never felt these limitations. I try to encourage other women when I'm in meetings. If I hear them say sorry or something like that, I pull them aside and I say, "Don't do it." No man in this room is apologizing for anything he said, and he's probably taking the credit for the brilliant idea you had. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a personality thing, but
my worry about this keyboard is that it would actually create more of a crutch. Like it would actually make women hesitate even more because it's like
why do we need a girl keyboard?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, why don't we? I mean, I want people to go and read it on the website. Read the article. But give us a little brief understanding of what this is.
Sure. So she's an inventor. Besides the keyboard, she also made a ring that will literally buzz you if you're saying an undermining word. So it's words that are.
I know some people who need that. Who are running for president.
Yes, or maybe a collar. But the keyboard also. So it's spherical. It's meant to fit women's hands better, but it's also got certain words you can use that are supposed to be more empowering and more proactive and more positive when you're composing your emails. So that way, the theory is when you look at, and this is what the data shows, like the way a woman types and the words she uses versus the words a man types, they tend to be more passive for the
Carrie,
woman.
but I'm in business, right? And I lead a global team in my job. And what am I supposed to do? Get keyboards for all the women?
Wait, is it
from a practical sense, and it also just seems. This is where my conservative side comes out because it seems so whiny. Like, let's get your yay, go you keyboard. Like, just get it together.
Stephen, let's pull you into it. Would you make all your employees? You're deputy digital director there. You're an important guy. Would you make the women on your team get this keyboard?
Let's not make women do anything.
Right, we're not making anybody do anything, but I have to agree. I don't think we need to have people have a special keyboard in order to stand up for themselves. You foster a culture in which every idea is valuable, and you let people kind of take ownership of that and reward and incentivize appropriately. And I found that some of the best ideas come from the women on my team, and that they're not shy about letting me know exactly why they came up with that idea. So it's a difference in personality, and I think more and more we're seeing the ladies stand up for themselves, and the guys have to try to keep up.
What were you going to say, Kevin?
I think that's what's great about the digital space and social media in general. It's a level playing field. It doesn't matter what your gender identity, or anything. You go out there, you engage with others, you make your points, and you banter with Carrie and Clay or whoever you want to banter with. And I think that is the power of digital.
And you can use as much assertive language as you want to with whatever kind of keyboard you want to use.
Exactly.
Really.
Well, I want a gender-neutral keyboard, personally.
Isn't that what we already had? I mean, why do we need to improve on something work? Bold contributor Patrice Lee has a story up there on bold.global. She made a video about Halloween costumes and cultural appropriation, and Halloween is coming up in a moment or so for those folks who are thinking of dressing up. Obviously, there's maybe even this year more sensitive issue, the question of how do you make sure that what you're dressing up as is culturally appropriate? Stephen, you got any thoughts on how people can make sure they're being appropriate and sensitive during Halloween?
Appropriate,
I
but
have
not
to,
appropriation.
Again, be
It's a
contrarian here and
balance.
buck the trend of culturally appropriate costumes. Like Halloween is when you're supposed to be someone else and someone different. And there's a line between being racist or perhaps denigrating a particular group. But there's a very different idea that comes from dressing up as something that's of somebody's culture. Now, I have the privilege of being able to dress up as whatever I want, and nobody's going to tell me that I'm appropriating anything. But right, it is a good privileged position. But at the end of the day, I think that it comes back to the conversation of safe spaces and things like that. Like, we need to be able to allow people to have self-expression and to do that in a respectful but not censoring way.
Yeah, so like if we saw someone, so like Kevin, you're a straight white male.
I'm dressing up like Beetlejuice this year.
That's a great costume.
I'll send you a picture.
Put that on social.
I will.
We know you will. But no, I mean you shouldn't dress. I don't think you should dress as a bad hombre or something like that. But
Correct.
Unless you're wearing a wig with a bad ombre.
Yeah.
that's
I think
that
it's
would be
all
the
about
twist.
having fun, and it's all about inspiring others to take risks and have a good time on Halloween. It's for the kids, and it's fun to go out and dress up like Beetlejuice and Lydia, my wife and I. It'll be very cute, I think.
I mean, you'd think that this was sort of an obvious thing, but I mean, this
It's
year
not so
it's
obvious
yeah.
though. But here's my question, because I actually thought about this. I love drag queens. I do doing beauty pageants and drag queens. Some of them are watching. Love you guys. Like taught me how to do my hair in high heels, and I thought, oh, I want to dress up as a drag queen for Halloween. But then I stopped because I thought maybe that's not. I did have this sort of check, like, oh, is that not with all the transgender issues? Is that not culturally appropriate? So
Yeah, no, and
Don't
I
ask me. I mean, there are. I mean, I know you're not, but there are some places where it's very difficult to understand what's appropriate and what's not. I mean,
just dress slutty.
that's pretty much that's what
just a slutty
Halloween's
nurse.
an excuse for that for most people.
Well,
anyway.
our first Halloween, my wife and I dressed up like a cowboy and saloon girl, and I was the saloon girl, and I thought it was funny,
I made my Jewish husband dressed up as a Catholic priest once.
Oh my
so
God,
it was
that's
like-
hysterical.
No, I think the
Honey.
concern. I think the concern is that, and I've said this to my friends, like, because some people are like, why isn't there a conservative Jon Stewart, or why isn't there a conservative version of Stephen Colbert?
Because we're not that
Because
funny.
I was about to say, because Republicans aren't funny.
my
You
take
are
on that,
funny.
You're
I think
hysterical.
my take on that is that it's because it's about punching down versus punching up. So if
Yeah.
you are the party that's perceived, and this is something I talk about a lot, the fact that Barry Goldwater opposed the Civil Rights Act in 1964 pissed off so many black voters. They had been like 39% for Dwight Eisenhower, but ever since 1964,
But Carrie, what
they
does that have
stopped
to do
voting.
with being funny?
But let me finish. Let me finish.
I get your point.
I
getting
have
there. I
a
see
point.
it down the
I have a point, and the point is that Republicans and conservatives, or it's perceived as the party of white men. And so, if you're the party that has not stood, or even just the individual who has not stood for people who are suppressed or people who are having difficulties, that's punching down if you make fun of them. So versus punching up, where it's easy to make fun of someone if they're a target. So
Which
so I
relates to
think
this
that's the
Halloween
problem.
costume
Exactly.
thing because I mean,
Yeah,
like Stephen was just saying, you're in a position where it's easier for you to dress up as things and not get in trouble. It might be tougher for me
Yeah,
to
because
dress
that
up.
would be punching down.
Well, we
versus
have the get her
punching
done
up.
guy. He's funny.
Get her
right?
done.
Like,
He
get her
is
done.
funny.
And then what's the other guy?
but I'm laughing at him, not with him.
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, Larry the Cable
You know what?
Guy.
I
Those
think
are
At
two
him,
funny
not with him.
people.
that's a very Morgan. That's a very good point. And
Yeah.
actually, we were talking about this with the Hillbilly Elegy book, and
It's a great, fabulous book.
wonderful book. But his point and his message is that for some reason the slur of being redneck is still allowed in this country.
Exactly.
And I don't
agree
think
with
that that's true. I
In
don't
rural
think that's
America,
fair.
I mean, this is a bit more serious than our Halloween
Sorry,
discussion.
I
But
can't help
But
it.
I am a redneck, so
I am
I'm
too.
dressing
I
up
am
as
too.
one
Yeah.
without having to change clothes.
you're not culturally appropriating. It's just your essence.
It's a polish that I put on when I get on camera. but
Trying
I'm
to
a
be
redneck.
fancy, Clay.
I am a redneck in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, you and I talk the same
Yeah,
way.
we did. We talk like that. Yeah.
Yes.
No. So would you be offended if I talk like this, Clay? Was that being cultural appropriation, or is this offensive?
That's actually that's actually somewhat convincing, Kevin. You're
I think it's endearing.
So I don't
It
know
makes me
about
feel like I'm back home.
As long
Although
as
I
you
don't-
don't put sugar in your grits.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who does that?
I don't.
Yankees.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh.
actually,
No,
I
ma'am.
actually brown
Oh,
sugar.
no.
'Cause it's
No.
You put brown sugar in your. We'll see you next week. I'll be here. Thank you guys very much for that discussion that went somehow from Halloween into breakfast food.
I love it.
But that's what makes it fun. Thank you guys very
Yes,
much for
thank you.
joining us.
Thanks, guys.